sounds like I shouldn't be admin in my own course then.
If you don't trust yourself yet. That option also is good if you are co-teaching a course with a colleague. You can add them to that. You can also add a grad student who is working with you on the course. Maybe they are helping you, do things here and there. So you can add them. So that option is also for these cases.
All right, so thumbs up if you're following along. You've got your team member added and your 2 content guides. Okay. So does anyone have any questions about team members before I move forward?
Sorry, I'm having trouble for some reason adding Doug and Elon. I don't know why. Maybe I'm not using the right email.
Okay, yeah, so I pulled the emails back up on my screen. Is it working, Aileen?
Yes, I had the wrong emails. I was looking at a different. If I could spell Louisiana, that would help. Okay, I'm good. Thanks.
Okay. So next, I propose that we change the display name. So when you imported the module template, it overwrote what was already there, which happens, but we can fix that. So again, we're going to go to settings and then go down to advanced settings. All right, so from this advanced settings, we're going to change the display name. Here we go. So scroll down to course display name, and then you can change the name in between the quotation marks to be the title of your module. And then of course, once you change something, always remember to save. So you should have a little pop-up on the bottom of your screen that says you've made some changes. Always hit that Save Changes button.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that it has to be like within quotes, like the name. Yeah, otherwise there will be an error. So.
Thanks for pointing that out.
There was a question, when we add a user, do they get some kind of notification that they've been added, or do they just look and see that the course is there?
Jenny, I might help you here. I think you get a notification. I think you get a notification.
I think you do not.
Okay.
Because people have just been adding a bunch of us, and I haven't got any emails.
Okay. I can never disagree with David.
Well, maybe the email's going to spam. I don't.
No, it's probably true. I get notifications. I think now I might take that back when people create accounts and ask for instructors and so forth. So
yeah, I think that's what you're thinking about. But the person that you add, once they log into their studio, they should see your module listed. Okay. All right, so we've exported, we've imported, we've hidden, we've added team members, we've added content and education guides. The next step is to begin building out your module. And so the next two things that we're going to work on is creating your module outline and populating your overall learning objectives table. So obviously this process is going to be unique to each of you. Everyone's module is different. So I'm just going to tell you what to do and let you run with it. So what's handy about this template is that it has all of the steps you need. It also tells you how this module was designed to be used by you. So once you have finished adding your team members, you can start changing and rearranging and adding and subtracting things and really making this your own. So this section here that just says section title, this whole block here is meant to be duplicated, copied as often as you need to make every section that you will need for your module. So this is just an example of what one section can have in it. So obviously we've got the introduction, the summary, and the overall learning objectives that we've talked about. One subsection is in here. You can copy and make more. But each subsection should have, you know, the background information or the problem statement, a check your understanding, and a learning activity of some sort. These are both the same things, just two different versions of making a learning activity. So in order to duplicate a section, you can hit this little symbol here that looks like two pieces of paper with the edges folded. You can duplicate and it just drops it down to the bottom or right below. That's new. And then here you can rename it and do whatever you want to do. The same thing for subsections. You can just duplicate it and it adds it into this section where you duplicated it from. So you may be wondering, why is this orange? What does that mean? All it means is that your changes are not published yet. Because your modules are hidden, this makes zero impact for you. But after your modules are live and you publish something, it becomes a little more important, but we'll worry about that later. So if you want to publish anything, you can just hit the publish button, which looks like a bar with an arrow on top. And then it lets you know that you have published your changes. So that's how you would create your module outline. Just duplicating and rearranging is necessary. So for the overall learning objectives table, here we are, which is in your introduction section. We have the table already made for you and you just fill it out as you need to. So when you come to this component, which is a text component, just go ahead and click edit. And then in here, you can add the learning objectives that are tied to each section, and then the learning objectives that are in the subsections. You can add subsection titles of your learning activity, etc., etc. It's pretty straightforward. If you need to add, like if you have more than 3 sections and you need to add a row, you would just use these little icons up here. Insert row above, below, delete, select. It's pretty much just like Excel. You can even merge, tells you the directions that you can merge, and you can also split cells. Okay, so that completes my little demo / tutorial. I believe at this point, I pass the mic off back to Dan. But before I do, does anyone have questions for me?
Can we work parallelly with our partner at the same time? Would it affect things that we save or not save?
Hmm. Maybe
wanna
we can. Maybe we can pay you a grant to do that feature in HydroAlert. I'm actually not sure if how to do it, if it works or not, and if it causes issues. So I would try it from the very first time, and if things break down, then it doesn't work. I don't think we ever tried it, Jenny, have we?
Well, Melissa wants to say something.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that it doesn't work the way Google Docs does. And if you're both in the same unit, it won't save both of your changes.
Okay.
But you could both be in different units writing things at the same time.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Melissa is correct.
Yeah, well, that's actually good to know.
And regardless, just make sure you save often.
Mm-hmm.
Save.
Yeah, in this day and age with Word auto saving and Google Docs auto saving for us, saving all the time is not the same habit it was 20 years ago.
Exactly, that's so true. Yeah, I'm starting to have students say, "Oh, I lost it all again." Like, wait a second. We've been telling people to save for 20 years. What do you mean you lost your stuff? But yeah, it depends on the software, and this software doesn't auto save for you. Well,
so to clarify, we don't need to give our team members administrative privileges for them to be able to edit and add content.
You don't have to, but it would be a good idea to add your partner as an admin with you.
Okay.
You don't need to add a content guide or an education guide as admin, just your partner.
Got it.
Because for you and your partner, it will be one module that you are working on, really. So you'll be co-owners almost.
I understand. Thank you.
All right. Dan, you want to bring us on
yeah,
home?
sure. Let's bring it all home. So today, at 5 o'clock. By the way, sorry, I was having trouble earlier today. I've been jumping off and on. My daughter, just throwing something out there just for fun. My daughter's about to have a baby. Like, she's due yesterday, I think. So we're sitting there waiting, and so I'm jumping on off and on phone calls and trying to. Anyway, no news yet. Maybe by the time this workshop's over, though, I'll be a grandpa. So. Random. Okay, so actually it fits pretty good because what we're talking about now is deliverables.
Dan.
See what I did there?
Got those grandpa jokes ready.
So you all have a delivery to make, and as does my daughter. Your deliverables by today at 5 o'clock Eastern, 4 Central, 3 Mountain, 2 Pacific. It's basically an hour and 5 minutes from now. Let's see, Mountain, 3 Mountain. Yeah, an hour and 5 minutes from now. We would like you to build your module outline, populate the overall summary and learning objectives table, populate the summary and learning objectives units in each section. Email the title of your module and content to the education guide when you're done. I think that's supposed to say to your content and education guide. So this might sound a little bit overwhelming, but honestly, if you've been following along and talking and doing the progress that we've been hoping that you're doing and hearing that you're doing, you should be pretty close to being able to do this now. Keep in mind that this can change. This isn't unalterable. If you put this module outline together and then tomorrow or the next day decide you want to adjust it, that's fine, but just get something put together. So any questions about this deliverable? Okay. I will say that it will probably be an easier task, a harder task for those of you working in teams of 2 because you've got to coordinate. But do the best that you can. And if you feel like you're clobbering each other with both editing the module at the same time, maybe one of you can volunteer to type up some of this in your doc, just keep it in your Google Doc. do it in your Google Doc separately and then just put it all in at once so that it's not like saving over the top of itself, because I'm still a little nervous about how it works with two people editing the same module. So you had an hour and 5 minutes or 3 minutes now. So good luck with this. Stick around. Let's see, I think, Jenny, it would make sense if we did breakout rooms for them to have open and working on whilst doing their deliverable, yeah?
Yes.
So before we send them off, Eileen had a question. So we gave you the Google Doc outline template, and we also have shown you how to do it in HydroLearn. And we did both of those in parallel in this last hour on purpose, because we want you to choose what works best for you. Some people want to do everything in Google Docs before putting it into HydroLearn, and other people want to jump right into HydroLearn. So this is really up to you. If you want to do it all out in Google Docs first and then move it over, that's fine. So just you and your partner can decide what you feel most comfortable with.
Yeah, there's no right answer, I think, for that one.
Yeah, we just want you kind of moving forward with your organization and planning of your module. Yeah, Sina? Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yeah, Sina. Yeah, that's correct. Actually, I have a question for Jenny. If the like for the learning objectives that we have a table, if you want to rejig the dimension of each column of the table, how can we do it? Because when I give dimension to the table property, it changes the entire table.
Let me navigate to one real quick. I believe this is one of the features that we've recently updated to. Let me see. Okay, I remember what's going on now. So if you are trying to edit like a column, sorry, let me share my screen here. Okay. So if you wanted to edit a column width or row height or something like that, what you see here, the changes that you make here, may be different than what you end up seeing when you view live. So, I mean, it can be a bit of a pain, but once you change, a column width here, what I would do is save, publish, and then view live. And then look here to see that it looks correct.
Right on.
So it's a little cumbersome, but it's better than what we had before. Okay. So I'm going to continue making your breakout rooms.
Jenny, I'm doing it since you were presenting for us.
Okay. Thank you.
So there's a question there about organization and course number. Do we have guidance? Maybe.
Where's the question?
It's a direct question to me. And now she sends it to everybody.
Okay, so let me see here. So for organization, what our previous fellows would do is they would like combine. So let's say we had Utah State and Alabama. So we would have like USU underscore, I don't know what that acronym is for Alabama, UA, I guess. I don't know, something like that. Or you can do / you can do just a composite of your different organizations. It's really up to you. So for course number, doesn't have to be a number specifically. If you are all teaching a similar class, you can just put hydro or hydrology or something to that effect, hydro 1, whatever you want. And then term as well. The term actually turns out to not be so important because if you can reuse your module later, and when you do that, you can update the term at that time. So You can just put a year if you want. If you know you're going to use it in 2022, you can just put 2022 or something to that effect.
All right, all the rooms are closing now.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and get into the next thing. Before we drop you into your larger groups for some feedback on your modules, we wanted just to remind you about the deliverables for you to bring back for the session tomorrow. So between now and our next meeting, 11 o'clock Eastern time, make sure that you make any needed revisions to your module in HydroLearn or the outline that you've been working on based on the feedback that you received today and that you'll receive in the next final group session. And finally, number 2, have you sent your consent form to Jenny? If not, make sure you do that. And have you submitted your screenshot to show that you completed HydroLearn 101? So make sure you get those things done before our session tomorrow.
I am
Okay,
finished.
so I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm glad you got this. I'm not done yet. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So now in a second, when Jenny's ready, we're going to drop you into your larger groups to have each group share out their modules. You just where you're at this point. So once again, we're going to do the same feedback process like we did with the learning objectives. So, some things you might think about or consider where you're giving feedback is the topic relevant to undergrad or early level graduate hydrology or water resources engineering? When you get feedback on that outline, does the outline include an intro section, intro within each subsection? Are the sections clearly labeled and numbered? I know in other modules, we found that if you have section 1, then you might do 1.1, 1.2, and so forth, just to make it clear about the structure of those sections to make it easier to communicate with students as you're using your module. And then once again, on the learning objectives, are they representing different levels of Bloom's taxonomy? Are they using those measurable verbs and so forth? So just keep those things in mind as we go into this final session for feedback. And I think it's my understanding once the groups finish, I think we're just going to have you drop out then and not return to the main room. Is that correct? I'm pretty sure that's correct. So
Yeah, that is correct. Sorry. Sometimes I can't find the mute button for some reason. So once we share in your groups, when your group is done, then you'll kind of dismiss from there. And so we'll just meet back here tomorrow morning using the same link you used today to join the call. Are we ready, Jenny?
Yep, ready when you are.
All right, Jenny has opened the rooms. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to hang out here and check with us. Otherwise, we'll see you in the rooms for sharing.